Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Firefighters Chalkboard. This is Uncle Wayne, and we're keeping on going with the Fools Podcast Bash. We are now recording into March. We slammed it out for February, had a bunch of good chapters come on, and we've still had more chapters reaching out, and we're going to keep it going. Just might not be as often, but we're gonna keep talking to the different chapters, keep let the country and the world know what's going on with them. Tonight we've got the 719 Fools out of Colorado, right?
Yep.
All right. So guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, because you can do it better than I ever can. I know most people don't want to brag on themselves, but introduce yourself and tell everybody about your chapter.
So, first off, we appreciate the opportunity to come on here and speak about our chapter. It's an awesome thing you're doing to have all these Fools chapters come out and have them get the publicity that they're getting. So we really appreciate having the opportunity to come on your podcast.
Sure.
I'm Ben Rackle. I'm a career lieutenant for a small fire district that's just east of Colorado Springs. I'm also the training officer for the Broadmoor Fire Department in the southwestern part of Colorado Springs. I'm the vice president of the 719 Fools.
I'm Trevor. I work just north of Colorado Springs for another small fire department, not the same one that Ben does. And I'm the training guy for the 719 Fools.
Good deal.
So our chapter kind of didn't start as 719 Fools. It actually started years ago. I won't know the exact date, but it started as the Pikes Peak Fools. Some guys from Fort Carson Fire down here in the Springs kind of started up. I think it was Dan Byes kind of got it started. And it was around for a couple years, and they did some good trainings and had some good get-togethers. And then I'm sure people's lives got busy like they always do, and it kind of lost some steam. I believe at that time, some people from Security Fire and Fountain Fire picked it up. They kind of ran with it for a while, did some things, and the kind of same thing happened. And so we kind of picked it up a few years ago, and we decided to kind of change the name just to encompass more of southern Colorado, because 719 is kind of the area code for majority of southern Colorado, at least the southeastern part of Colorado. And so hopefully that would bring more people into the chapter and make them feel more included. So we went with 719 Fools, and that's how we kind of came up with that name. And we've been going pretty good and strong since then. We've had lots of good trainings. We try and hold a meeting every other month. We've had a lot of good hands-on training. We had 2 acquired buildings last year that we got to use out in the county here. And we had Ryan Harper from Wichita come in, and then Jake Dickies and his Sons of Irons people came and taught another class the next weekend. So,
Yeah, the name change was kind of cool too, because I've watched some of your podcasts, and some of these chapters are like, yeah, we've got 3 or 4 Fools chapters within a couple hours of us. Like, we go from the Springs metro area all the way to the New Mexico border. Like, we've got dudes that are driving 3.5 hours to meetings. I drove up 2 hours tonight to do this. Like,
Wow.
we've got dudes that cover some ground to meet up and just talk firemanship.
That is great, because guys having that much interest in it. I mean, because look, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. I mean, that's a lot of driving just to come to a thing, and that's dedication for brotherhood and training and being better at the craft, and that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a really unique thing, because we've got everything from a true urban fire department, 25, 30 houses, dry ladder trucks, to a completely 100% volunteer, covers 200 square miles fire departments of members that make up our chapter.
Now that would be kind of interesting. Would you being the training guy trying to figure what's the best way to toss that salad to kind of make it where it's better for, kind of blends in good for everybody when you're so diverse between the firemen that are in your chapter?
Yeah, that balance is definitely a fine line to walk. The good thing is all the same tasks have to be accomplished, whether you're in the middle of nowhere or if you're in downtown FDNY. It doesn't really matter. So usually we can find some common ground on that. How it looks at your own fire department is usually the part that looks a little bit different.
Okay. So you guys have been all doing all kinds of stuff, got training coming up. Every other month meetings, that's great, because, a lot of the majority that we talk to are doing them, once a quarter, stuff like that, because it's hard to get people together where you can have big crowds. But that's awesome that you're doing them, every other month, and you've had some good training companies come in and do stuff with you guys, so you're not being stagnant whatsoever. It's showing that you guys are doing work. You're trying to promote the core values of the Fools, which is, training, brotherhood, tradition, all that stuff tied into one. So, bravo, fellas.
Yeah, I think it also helps having them more often too, because we do shift work, and even when we're having them every other month, some guys can't make them for a couple months, and they end up only being able to make it once a quarter. If we went to once a quarter, I mean, you could be kind of hosed out of a meeting for more than half a year if it happens to keep falling on your shift day.
Yeah, and on top of that, life happens, softball season, everything. I'm a big softball nut and a house full of girls, and when you're working shift work and everything else, when you finally have a day off and the kid's playing ball, we got to go see the kid play, so.
Yeah, it's a fact. All this stuff is great, but I mean, there's no replacement for your own family. This is a great second family, but at the end of the day, this job will always go on. We talk about that before. I've talked with Ben about that. This job is in perpetuum. It will always go on, but your family's who's always going to be there for you.
That's very true. And the one thing that I will say about a lot of the people I deal with in the Fools, my local chapter I'm in, that family blends into my family, because if something's going and say I'm out of town, I can pick the phone up and I know those guys are going to jump up and take care of my family if I'm not there. That's part of the brotherhood that makes the Fools so strong.
Yeah, it definitely helps to, I think, reset you and be around like-minded firemen. Like Dave McGrail says, it's great to be around a bunch of top-shelf firemen. You don't want to be hanging out with a bunch of slugs. Like, usually only some top-shelf guys come out to the meetings and make that journey. So it's really good to have that experience and be able to talk about them, whether it's in the fire service or their life experience with their family. It's always good to get everybody's view on something.
Oh yeah, and it recharges your batteries. It makes you excited to get ready to go back to work. Do some training and have some fun stuff. It breaks up the monotony of, every third day or whatever kind of shift they've got you working. It gives you a chance to get that sense of purpose again.
Yeah, and it's really rewarding. That whatever you put into it, you get out of it, right? So a lot of these relationships you'll build through the Fools will become your friends. Like me and Ben, we text almost every day, I'd say, at this point.
We go to trains together.
Yeah, I mean, we travel across the country for stuff. It's really rewarding to be able to build that culture and that environment of people that you want to spend your time with.
And it makes getting to other trainings easier, whether it's another Fools chapter. We go out to Wichita a lot. It's before we used to go by ourselves. You had to pick up all the gas, the hotel, everything by yourself. Maybe take a lonely drive for 8 hours to get there. And now we got a pickup truck full of guys sharing the gas. Having good talks on the way out to a training somewhere.
I can see that, and not only going out there, but think of the conversations that are having. You got a truck full of guys after you've spent the whole weekend doing a training for a conference or something. The conversations that are had on the way back. Because you're constantly breaking it down and having a good time and everything else.
Yeah, I'd say it's almost more fun than the conference sometimes.
Yeah, especially when you have dudes that are in a bunch of different classes. It's like, well, what'd you get? How'd that go?
Yeah, so you definitely get more knowledge out of it that way, too.
Oh, yeah. Like you can get all the, you can get the cliff notes and we're never in there because you were doing something else, and just vice versa. So you talked about traveling, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it out. Are you guys planning on heading out to the conference in St. Louis?
I believe some of us are.
Yeah.
We had the 25,000th Fools member to join, came from our chapter, Golden Reigns from Monument Fire. So he has a free ticket to the conference. I don't know if he's planning on going out. I know he has a free ticket, and I believe our president, John Goose, probably trying to plan to go out. And I don't know who else will, still kind of far out, so I think they're still kind of planning that.
Yeah, it's still a while out, and Dave and those guys in Muddy River are doing a great job getting everything ready, and I'm excited to see everything that's going to be going on. I plan on being there. I'm going to be roaming from one place to another. Don't be surprised if I sneak up behind you with a microphone in my hand and jam a little interview on you real quick, or anybody else that's listening for any chance that's there. You see the little short guy with a really bad accent run up behind you. It's okay. We just trying to promote the Fools.
Yeah, we had a meeting a couple months back, and the guys from Muddy River were out, and we had a couple of their guys stop by at a meeting. They were all top shelf dudes, just sit there and talk shop, and from totally different parts of the country, just like we've known each other for years. It felt like.
Yeah. And I wanted to go ahead and tell you, guys, thank you so much for all the stuff you sent. I was rocking that T-shirt when I was in West Virginia this past week. This past week, and I was at a pipe stem conference there, and or not pipe stem. It was called the Escape Conference at Pipe Stem State Park. But yeah, I was rocking a 719 Pool shirt, and the other night I was rocking a New England Pool. So I promised you guys if y'all sent them, I would wear them. So, and I actually had a few people up there ask me, "What are the pools?" For 2 nights, we've seen you come and eat dinner, in the little restaurant, little bar area at the hotel, and they're like, "Explain to us what this is." So it was really cool that I had an opportunity to explain the purpose of the pools and what they mean and what we're trying to do, because there's no chapters up there. And but maybe the seed was planted to where they might look into it and start one.
That'd be awesome. It's always great to have new ones come up and help people get the training, the knowledge, and the brotherhood going.
Yeah, really just build that network, of those like-minded individuals like we've hit on already. Like,
Yeah.
it's extremely rewarding.
So, guys, what have you got coming up for the future? I know you've got some training planned or some kind of get-togethers or something. What we got? Let the world know.
Right. So later this month on the 18th of March, we're going to have a big brotherhood bash. We're partnering with the NOCO Fools, which is the Fools chapter out of northern Colorado, kind of around Fort Collins. The Firefighter Air Coalition is holding their high-rise conference here at a hotel in Colorado Springs. And so on the March 18th, after that conference, for anybody who's going, we're going to be having a brotherhood bash at a bar and monument, the Goat Patch Bar and Monument. Mike Dugan, who's one of kind of the founding Fools members, is going to be there. Hopefully Dave McRae will be there. So we should hopefully have a lot of brothers come together and have some good night of shop talking and getting to know each other.
Yeah, then so we got that. That's our big one for sure. Here lately, we've been starting to do some regional stuff around. So we're teaching a class this. I guess that was
April.
Yeah. So we taught a class down in the south side of the county and made some contacts down there. So now we're going a county over from where we both work at, and we're going to go teach 3 days of engine work out there. So that'll be a fun, probably pretty wet set of days.
Yeah. And we've been really getting into the whole training mindset of Fools. Is getting out there and sharing the knowledge. Not like we go to a ton of fires here, but we like to pass the knowledge on to anybody that wants to learn. Last year we had the opportunity, Hotchkiss Fire, which is in the far northwestern part of Colorado, kind of got hooked up with us, and they needed some engine company training because they had a state grant. So we went out there and we provided 2 days of training to them with some canvas corners we got donated by Dustin Corder, the guy who makes them. He donated them to us, and we got to go out there and actually use them and help Hotchkiss Fire, which is a small town fire department in northwestern Colorado, learn engine company operations and hose movement. And then we just last week went to another small town in our county, Palmer Lake, and we set up a search training for them. So we're getting out there, helping the smaller departments and people that want to learn and pass the knowledge on to whoever wants it.
Yeah, we're pretty booked up. A pretty booked up year already. I mean, we got an acquired structure that we're hoping to get this summer at some point again, and then we're trying to do a big 2-day hands-on class too, as long as we can find a host for that. So we're filling up fast already for this year. And with the weather pattern out here, it's you got to do it when you can, or else you'll be frozen.
I've been frozen enough this year, and I live in the South. I can't even, pretend to figure out how you guys even survive in that cold stuff. But I wanted to take a second while we were on here, and you guys mentioned it all, but Fire in the Sky, March 17th through the 19th is when it's coming up. And everybody listen to this lineup. If there's any spots left, I don't know if it's sold out yet or not. It's probably really close to being sold out if it hasn't. But, man, the lineup, you got Dave McGrail, you got Mike Gagliano, you got Mike Dugan, you got Clark Lamping, you got Chris Slater, you got Brent Brooks, Chris Bloom, Jimmy Davis, Jay Bonifield, Mike Champo, Daniel DeYear. I mean, these are some heavy hitters going to be at this thing, guys.
Yeah, it should be a very good conference. It's 3 days long, or 2.5, I think. But hopefully all those brothers come out to the bash, and we can have a really good night of hanging out.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, is there anything else that you want to let the world know about while I got you on here? Not trying to put you on the spot or nothing.
No,
I think just, go out and find your local Fools chapter.
Yeah.
If not, start one. Or, if you can't do that, at least get out there and share the knowledge that you have with people if they want to learn it.
Yeah.
Don't try and, bottle up any of this great knowledge that we have running around the fire service. I've learned a lot from Trevor and the experiences he's had in his career and the different states he's worked in. And, I would have never had that. And, had we not met and started talking shop, going to conferences, and now the Fools is just a bigger way to do that and get all these people together that have, like you said, we got urban guys and we got guys that show up with one fireman on a truck. And that's how they run and operate. So it's very, very different kind of styles and ways of doing things that it's great to see how the other kind of parts of the fire service work.
Yeah, and you were talking about with you and Trevor and stuff. I will say that the easiest way to describe the Fools for anybody that is listening, that is questioning, for the fire service, more so than anywhere, iron sharpens iron. And the Fools gives us a chance to be around like-minded individuals that truly love this job and want to do nothing but get better at this job without having to worry about the drama, the politics, or anything else. It's just guys that really love what they do and they want to show everything they know how to do, and not in a cocky way. They want to show it so other people can learn it because they want the end goal to everybody be at the highest level they can be at.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really what the Fools mean.
It's okay to be into the job, Like I've worked in places where the fire department was people's second jobs, and I worked a lot of places where the crew I was on was like the crew you would want to show up, and you're never alone, right? You might feel alone in your own little circle right now, but there's always somebody else out there that's got the same mindset that you do. It's just about putting in the effort to finding it. And that might be the hardest thing you ever do, is find those people that are like-minded like you are and are into the job.
I think Fools has a lot of humble people too.
Yeah,
I've been to conferences and some places around that the big city fireman thinks he's all that there is and doesn't want to talk to any county firefighter or anything like that. And I feel like in the Fools group there's not a lot of that. It's just guys that want to hang out and be better at the job. Doesn't matter where you work, doesn't matter what rig you ride. Because we've had people from the local Air Force bases come to our meetings. We've had the big urban Colorado Springs Fire Department guys show up, and there's none of the that banter going on. It's all equal.
There's still banter. There's still banter, but it's not the ego banter. It's like you're at the kitchen table and you're just busting chops at the kitchen table. Like it's the good kind of banter.
That's what we call an equal opportunity area, because it doesn't matter.
That's what's kitchen table firehouse.
There's no rules. Well, maybe one.
If you sit down at the table, you're game just like anybody else is.
Mm-hmm.
The chief, he always just set his chair away from the side so he could watch the crowd. He knew he was safe until he laid his elbows on the table.
Yeah, I've like Ben was talking about. I've had the pleasure of working a couple different states, and that's one thing that's remained constant is the kitchen table. That's one of those traditions that I hope never goes away.
And I love the fact that you said that, because, I talk about that a lot in one of my classes, and there is two places where knowledge is dumped out. It's kitchen table and the bumper to fire rig. It doesn't matter if you're on an engine, a truck, a service piece, whatever it is, sitting in that bay, leaned up against the bumper, cup of coffee, maybe a cigar late after dinner at night. There is so much knowledge and wisdom that is dumped out in that bay, and and that much more times 10 at the kitchen table, because there's always a conversation or some kind of learning lesson that happens there. And I think as long as we keep doing it, the younger generation will keep it going. So it's super important.
My favorite part about those two places is that it's organic. It's not some made up computer assignment that we have to do to satisfy some policy. It's not some nonsense that came from somebody, right? The Trevor Holiday policy, the IFSTA manual. It's just guys talking or firefighters just talking. It is what it is. It's original. There's no hidden agendas. It's just organic.
Yeah, it's best kind because it's learn things about your own district, things you probably never knew about your department. Maybe it's history.
Yeah,
it's
family. Just talk about people's families, like what your kids are doing, your wives.
Hey, that's important. because especially think of in the company officer realm, and you know, if I don't care enough to know when's your kid's birthday, when's your anniversary, how am I going to say I care about you if I don't care enough to know that that day's important for you? And maybe I can help you get that day off or get coverage or something like that when it comes up. It's just one of those things, and there's a lot of great guys that teach on that stuff, the importance of taking care of your people and truly loving your people and stuff, and engaging in them is a true way of showing how you love your guys. Fellas, that is some great stuff. You guys have really got a lot of stuff planned up, a lot of big things coming up. I'm not gonna lie, I'm jealous because if I had a chance to go see Mikey G and Mikey D, I mean, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But my frequent flyer miles have been recently used up. Got that new grandbaby, so we've been taking a lot of trips back and forth to Oklahoma. So,
Yeah, that
but thank you so
might
much.
not want to be here in March. It's a little cold sometimes, but not this year. But
No, I mean, I was in Oklahoma 3 weeks ago. It was cold there too. I mean, it was,
Been a mild winter here.
yeah,
guys, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you coming on, talking about your chapter, letting everybody know what you guys have got coming on, inviting people to come out and do training with you, meet up with you, stuff like that. Everybody that's listening, thank you so much for taking the time to join in, listen to our conversation, and learn a little bit about the 719 Pools. If you've got anybody you want to see come on the podcast, reach out to me. Send me a DM. Tell me who they are. I will reach out. We'll try to get them on the show. Best I can do. But I have a hard time coming up with content on my own a lot of times. Reach out to me and let me know what you want to hear. This is for you. Just make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, because we're on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're not hard to find. You just got to look. The Firefighters Chalkboard. Guys, thanks so much for coming on. Everybody, thanks once again for listening. Till next time, stay safe, keep learning, and we'll see you when the next guys step up to the chalkboard.